Next, I would like to invite Kiran from Kate Stewart Office, the Council Vice President. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm not going to speak for very long because I'm not the elected official, but thank you all so much for having me. I'm Kiran McCabe. I work for Council Vice President Kate Stewart on the Montgomery County Council. She also represents District 4, which is this area. So that's Tacoma Park, Silver Spring, all the way up over to North Bethesda. And we're also just thrilled to be able to represent this community. I grew up over in Tacoma Park, so I've been in the area for many, many years. I went to Montgomery Blair High School, as did my sister. So it's always just wonderful to be able to come out to events like these and really celebrate all of the different members of our community who really just make Silver Spring and Montgomery County what it is, which is just so incredible. So Councilmember Stewart does send her regrets. She's unfortunately at a conference on early childhood engagement, so hoping that she'll be bringing some of those things that she's learned back to Montgomery County and potentially even working with this program about, you know, some of those skills and something like that. So I do also have a citation. I don't know if you want to come up as I read it. It's not as fancy because it's not in a frame, but it's still special.
I'll pay for the frame.
So this says, the Montgomery County Council awards this citation to Akukulu Family, Life, Youth Mentorship, and Tutoring in recognition and appreciation of your grand opening. Thank you for your investment in the Montgomery County community. Signed on this 6th day of September 2024 by Council Vice President Kate Stewart.
Thank you very much, Kiran. We appreciate Council Vice President Kate Stewart's constant effort to support the Ethiopian Eritrean community, the African diaspora, and the African American community. Thank you very much. We appreciate your support. Next, I would like to introduce Debabu Asafa. He has been a long-serving community member of ours, and I know Debabu everywhere. He's everywhere. So I would like for him to come here and talk on behalf of the Ethiopian, Eritrean, and African community. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Before I start, Bernadette, could you please stand again? She is a proof of concept. Wasn't she amazing? Absolutely. Oh, I'm so proud of you. I want that candle to go furthermore. So you have proved your concept. That's very impressive. You know, it's amazing. We met on July 27 at the D20 African Immigrant Community you organized. She came to me with a beautiful smile. And from the minute she started talking to me, I knew she was for real. And she was so certain about what she's doing. And she was very passionate about what she was doing. And I knew she was a winner, and nobody can say no to a winner. So I'm here for my own selfish reason, to support a winner. We all need winners. I have to be very honest with you, at a very scary time. Locally, nationally, internationally. The world is going crazy. We can only find our humanity in a small circle community gathering. Like this is where we save ourselves. I take this very, very seriously. This is where our humanity comes together. This is where our power is. So I urge you to hold on to the little jewels we have and to nurture them in any way we can do it. By the way, we're all in the position of service to the greater good. Everybody, from the policymakers to her, me, unless we collectively contribute, unless we collectively aspire to take care of our ecosystem, our community, anything we gain personally doesn't have any value. So that brings me to the topic I'm invited to speak on. I said, but what do you want me to speak about? I was trying to get out of that assignment, and she said, I want you to talk about the importance of service and volunteering. That is a powerful concept. I tell you, each and every one of you have a bank account where you deposit the money you make. We call that financial capital. What you access in this material world is directly proportional to the amount of money you have on that credit card or debit card. But that's not the whole thing. We have social capital, where our humanity comes together, where we are connected, where we define each other's role in our collective being. For instance, I travel to Ethiopia a lot. If I get stuck in Ethiopia, I can't call my bank and tell my money to get out and send me whatever. Because it's a financial capital. It doesn't have any heart. It's a number game. But what if I have a dear friend, a dear sister, I can call up, ask them to do whatever I please. As simple as that, social capital on that small level, and then on the grander scale. So how do you build your social capital? You have to pay attention to the many souls who aspire to serve us, who provide some solution to some issue that we have, voluntarily because they have the passion to serve. We have to support them. All the volunteers that you have, you're doing an amazing job. I take my hat off for you. That's how you serve community and you serve yourself too, because we're all intertwined. There is no me. We come from Africa. I am because we are, therefore I am. My humanity, if it's this detached from the collective, be it financially, economically, or intellectually, in any way you can think of, we can't be well unless we are totally well together. So, social capital is very vital. You have to worry about it like you worry about your money. And you have to get up every day and say, well, how much am I going to deposit on my social account? Find those beautiful souls who step up to serve the greater good. Help them in any way you can. Not for them, for your own sake, because you belong to a society. If the ecosystem is sick, I don't care how well you are in any way or form. So if one of us is sick, we're all sick. So social capital is like breathing. You can live without money, but you cannot live without social capital. These days, there is another mental issue coming on the it's your lifeline. So volunteering is access to that. It's like you go to work to make money, you volunteer to build your social capital. The last, which is also important, is your political capital, which comes as a result of your engagement. There are people who are servant of our greater good. They step up, they work hard to serve us in the place where policy is made. You know, the greatest thing about America is a government of the people, by the people, for the people. We elect our representatives from the city council to the county council to Maryland and Congress. They're supposed to represent our aspiration because they are supposed to be our goodwill, our voice. So you have to make sure everybody who represents you from the school board, thank you for coming, from a school board to the county, we have to make sure they know us. We have to look into their eyes, tell them what we mean, what we aspire to do. But you also have to support them. You have to door knock for them. You have to contribute. You have to vote. The political capital is also important. Without the political capital, without social capital, each and every one of us can build for the benefit of our great collective. We're sick. So I take this moment to be arrogant, because we have to step up. The world is collapsing. The only place where we can save ourselves is in our community. In our community, we have to invest. In our community, we have to volunteer. In our community, we have to work with our elected officials. I can't tell you how hard my delegate works. My representative work. I know them. I go to other places. I see them. I've seen them work for the last. They are more concerned about you than you are concerned about yourself. That disconnect has to be broken. Next time you get mad at the news, go to your community and volunteer. Next time you get sick by some news away from the community, you can only control what you can control. You cannot control what you can. Forget that to the higher forces and maximize your input in your local community. With that, thank you for listening to me. Permanent, I walk away impressed. Thank you. Be the proof of concept. Next time when you step up, say, I'm the proof of concept this model, okay? All right. Thank you for your attention.
That's a beautiful concept of community service. Collectively, we do a great thing together for the future of ourselves. Next, my wonderful business mentors who did work so hard to bring this program here. I appreciate you so much. Bola and Mark Odina from MBA Growth Partners.
Dr. Alita, I just want to say congrats so much. I am standing up here just really beaming and so proud of all the work that you've done. As was said, my name is Bola Odina. I'm with MBA Growth Partners. And what we do is we're a business consulting firm. We provide coaching, strategy, operations, and really all aspects of what it takes to have a business start, grow, scale, and exit in a profitable way. But we casually like to say that we support the dreamers because we know it's a special individuals, the few chosen ones in the community who are tapped to not only dream but bring about some sort of a vision. So the first part of my speech is about is a quote from a movie. I think it's called The Field of Dreams that says, "If you build it, they will come." And a lot of times, you know, the dreamers, there's so few that are chosen to go out and carry out a vision. Even fewer listen to that ask. And then even fewer are able to really bring it to fruition. So as we're standing here today, not only have you really heeded the call, you've set out to build it, and here we are able to really benefit from the vision that you've built. So congrats, because you continue to lead the way, and we look forward to being beneficiaries of the work that you've put into place. So thank you. And then my next quote that I typically share with my children is, really life is a buffet. As this has been built, we're standing here today and we're able to choose from the buffet that you've laid out to us. But the metaphor of the buffet is that we really can do whatever it is that we want, right? We have the option to go as high as we want as individuals. We have the option to really below just our own minds, our community minds, by going beyond expectations. But that takes a lot of knowledge, that takes wisdom, that takes understanding, and I think more importantly, it takes vision. These are all things that as individuals you don't naturally typically just have unless you have teachers, unless you have mentors, unless you have people who are rooting you on, who are pointing you towards that path and really telling you that yes, you can do it. So even standing here today, you know, I've already gained additional wisdom. Just seeing, number one, the wisdom of the youth, the wisdom of those ahead of us who are fighting in government for us, and the wisdom that you've taken to really birth something from nothing. That is amazing. And then of course knowledge. You know, part of the reason why we go to school, why we're interacting with folks, is because we need knowledge to be able to really exist. And that's something else that we can learn from being a part of this vision that you've brought about. And then, of course, vision to me, I think is probably the most critical part. We have knowledge, we have understanding, we have wisdom, but knowledge, I mean, vision to me is really the multiplier. It's the thing that gets you from thinking small to really expanding beyond your wildest expectations. And that's really the power of mentorship. That's the power of leaders who've gone ahead of you to really show you the vision. So what a gift to our communities and to our children that they can dream beyond their wildest expectations. And then lastly, we were asked to speak about time. So I really want to say that, you know, we all say all the time that we don't have time, we don't have time, we don't have time. But I tell my children all the time, really all we have is time, right? From the minute you're born all the way till you die. In between is time. What we choose to do with the time is really the differentiator. And a lot of us squander our time, we squander resources, we squander relationships, we squander capital, social capital that you mentioned, but ultimately we could either spend or we could choose to invest. And when we invest our time, that coupled with knowledge, wisdom, understanding, vision is truly the exponential multiplier. And I really just urge everyone, the children, the parents, the community members, everyone to really invest their time wisely by pouring themselves into this resource that we have in our community. And I can't wait to see what's to come as a result of those few elements if we're able to really do that as a community. So once again, congrats, you've built it. We're going to leverage the buffet that you've laid out in front of us, and as a community, we will choose to invest our time into this space that you've created.
All right, thank you. This is our CEO, and our CEO is a woman, just as Alilta is. And I see a lot of young women here, and I want to note this because I know that in the African American community especially, like, we have a lot of strong women who are leading the charge. Like, the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs are African American women. And my understanding from my conversations with Dr. Alilta is that it's maybe a little different in the Ethiopian community. Like, the women are a little bit more self-effacing, just standing in the back. I want to encourage you, young ladies, to go out there and live your dreams, number one, because it is all possible. Now, I am an immigrant. I was born in Port-au-Prince, Haiti, which is the poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. I came here when I was 7, and so we share a very similar background. And my father, I remember, he was always at work. He got up, he worked from 6 in the morning, came back at 12. I remember when he was like, you hear the keys in the door, and we like all scuttle around and go to our beds and go to sleep because we knew he was coming. But the one thing that he imparted on all of us, there was 7 of us, 7 of us in this little apartment, and the one thing he imparted on us was how education was so important. This is why all of us got our education. All of us are, college grads. And so what I remember growing up is that I did have these programs, the mentorship programs, where I was able to get to the point where I came from a person who, was in a 3-bedroom apartment, and now I'm an attorney. I have my own business with my partner in life and in business, and I'm telling you that it is possible. But what I want to talk to you guys about, especially the parents here, is how important that is. Because here's another story I'm going to tell you. I remember when I was in elementary school, they bought us, me and my brother, some Jordans. And I don't know exactly how he got the Jordans. I don't know if he bought it or not, because if he actually bought it, he could have returned it. But mine was too small. And it was like, okay, you can't wear it because it's too small. So he gave them both to my brother, and I was so disappointed. And I want to tell this story because I know that what we are looking for is to make sure that our children are happy, but there is a need to invest in the long term. It's not the immediate, because there's a lot of times where I'm like, okay, we can see from the things that I buy you now, I can see in your face that you're happy, but there is a need for you to invest in your children long term. And this is the kind of things that, I did not have growing up. There's a lot of things I wish I had learned. My father did the best that he could with what he knew and his availability, having to be at work all the time. I want to say that investing in mentorship is very, very important. It's key to escaping wherever it is that you find yourself in. So I want to say that to you parents, that's important. I want to say also to the children, invest in the time that's necessary to come in and do the work. This is what separates, Alilta from a lot of the coachees, the people that we work with. It's like some people come in, because this is the program that we offer, it's paid for by, Montgomery County. So they pay us, but the people who are in there don't have to pay for anything. So you get what you put into it. So if you're not putting in the work and the effort, you're not going to get into it. But I can tell you this, like when we were in my mentorship when I was in high school, we were like a team. Like, you know, it became known that this was the, you know, this group that we were a part of. And it's so very important that you guys think the same way, because you can become the cool people. It is very important that, you know, we set what cool is. You know, cool is education. Cool is not hanging around and doing this kind of crazy crap. If you guys distinguish yourself, people will want to join this organization as well. So those things are very important. I want to impart that upon you guys to go make this thing big, because it's possible. I know Dr. Alilta is going to pour her energy into it, and so this is a community thing. It takes a village. It's a real thing. So, you know, if you don't have the time, bring them over here and they'll get the mentorship. Because, you know, I know you got to come home and feed your family. So go do the work and bring them over here and make sure that this organization is powerful. All right, that's all I got.
I also just wanted to acknowledge that Shepard Evans, who's on the Montgomery County Board of Education, is here today, highlighting how much they value this important piece in our community, and former president of the board. Yes, was former president of the board. So thank you for being here as well. Thank you. We'll share this one. Okay.
1, 2, 3.